Well, good afternoon, kind sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but it was fun going to HPB Expo yesterday down in Atlanta.
It
Quick trip
was.
down and back so we could do the marketing panel with some good folks. It was fun.
Yeah, it's always a great time down there. But I'm really wanting to talk about how many chimney sweeps were down there. They said that integrating their CSIA and some of the other things that they've done with NFI and HPBA. I mean, that's seems like it's been a great thing. So
Yeah,
a lot of sweeps down there, a lot of people. I mean, we just saw tons of people in education. In fact, over the last few years, I know last year was all virtual, but we did the panel the year before, and there was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times more people in it this year than there was then. Didn't you think?
yeah, and I didn't. We didn't. One of the things I wish we had done and we didn't do from the start. I think we would have done it if we were the ones in control of the meeting. But because it was a panel discussion, we had a moderator, um,
Hmm.
and we got underway before we really got a chance to survey the room. I would have loved to find out how many people in the room were service only, how many were retail only, and how many of them were both. And that would have given us a little bit better idea. But just looking out and knowing so many people from the chimney industry, there was a lot of service guys represented there, a lot of service companies, and that was cool to see. I think HPBA in
Hmm.
the years to come is gonna find that the reaching out and having good content for the service side of the business is going to be a really good thing.
Yeah, I think so too. And hey, guys, thanks, Chuck, for the like. Always appreciate that. Glad you're here again today. Anybody else out there want to give us a thumbs up, a like, a heart, all that thing? Keep getting told that we need more engagement. So that's all the engagement piece, with good old Facebook. So if you'll do that, we certainly appreciate it. One of the things that, hey, Mark, glad you're here. One of the things that I think most people don't think about when it comes to marketing is really about communication. But the reality is, marketing is all about communication. Terry, thank you. Glad you're here this week as well. Always welcome everybody that tunes in every week. And I'm gonna ask you guys that are here every week. Can y'all reach out to some of your buddies in the industry and tell them to tune in? We've had several people that have said we didn't even know you were doing that. I'm like, well, I don't know what else we can do. We're trying. So we just thought if maybe other people in the industry would get on some of the forums and stuff and say, hey, this is a really good place to learn about marketing. You might, if you're available on a Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock Central, great place to be. If not, catch the replay or find it on one of the Spotify or podcast channels. That's one of the things I always laugh about is we think we're doing a great job getting the word out, but apparently it just takes a lot. So we're going to keep trying. Anyway, that's part of the communication piece, though, right? I
It
mean
is
that
indeed.
it really is. And, I may have to start just getting on the old-fashioned telephone and just calling every company I know of.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
You
whoa!
know,
Don't go crazy now.
but that's one of the things we're going to talk about when we talk about marketing communication styles. Marketing really is conversations. I mean, it's relationships. So it's funny when putting this together and you're talking about marketing communication styles, they really are relationship communication styles. Everybody has different ways that they communicate. So, in order to keep up with the times, it really, that's what changes. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. Um, I know for me, I mean, I'm going to be 65 soon, and if I didn't know that, all the Medicare flyers and mailings that I'm get would remind me. Every time I turn around and don't want to be reminded, I get another letter. So I'm just letting all y'all out there. If you hadn't got there yet, when the time comes, you will know because you'll get 5 or 6 letters a week from all kinds of places. But my preferred methodology of communication is verbal, and so it's the phone.
or
Absolutely.
or like Zoom video.
Yeah, I mean
We use
it's
that a lot in our business.
yeah, I mean it's verbal, it's whether it's over Zoom, but something where I'm actually having a real live conversation where I'm looking at the person, I'm seeing the expressions, I'm having those really good conversations. That's really what I like. If I can't do that, then my next mode of preferred deal is text, because now I feel like at least somebody's engaging with me and I'm going back and forth, and we're having somewhat of a conversation.
Yeah.
But there used to be online forums. We still do that. Of course, we do phones, but fax. And we don't even think about fax. Every once in a while,
So,
yeah. Go
well,
ahead.
no, I was going to say, I was going to tell you what mine were, and while I'm telling you, if anybody listening to this wants to just chime in the comments with what your favorite method of communication is personally, not necessarily in your business with customers, but just personally, how do you, what technology or what tools do you like to use to communicate? So for me, my go-to is during the day is text message.
Hmm.
That's like text and chat. We use Slack in our business a lot. That's my default. And then if I need to communicate more than just what would fit in a text or a chat really quickly, then I like Zoom. I love a video conversation or a video conference because I can see the person. I can read them a little bit better and get a better idea of how what I'm saying is connecting with them. And then after that, it's just good old tried and true phone calls.
Yeah. And it's funny because I prefer phone calls. That's my number one, because I can get it done, and move on down the road, and Zoom is second.
Yeah.
Um, but we look at those things, and really so Terry prefers email. Thanks, Terry, for that. And I know a lot of people that do prefer email. I mean, it gets them a time to kind of sit and think about what's been said, craft the message, those kind of things. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with any type of communication. So I have people that ask me from time to time, what is the best way? Well, there really is no best way to communicate. It really is. The better question is, what is the preferred way you want to communicate? So, that's a little bit different than what is the best way to communicate.
It's kind of like asking the question, where's the best place to fish? Well, the best place to fish is wherever the fish are biting,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, unless you just want a nap.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's always that. Um, but really, fax, email, online forums, phone, those have been around, a really long time. But we also have to also acknowledge that we've got some new platforms and some new ways to communicate. And I will tell you, before anybody says anything, outside of text, the other three, and just not my favorite, but I'll do it, and I'll do it because it's the way my customers prefer me to do it. Um, but it's Messenger to add to text. Google My Business, or actually, it's Google Business Profile. I say that all the time. I have a note, Google Business Profile, and it still said Google My Business. And of course, the chat, which is on most websites. So, when you think about those kind of things, you you kind of get overwhelmed because, just from a human perspective, you get more than three things you have to monitor, or three ways you have to do things. It kind of becomes overwhelming. I mean, it really does. And so when you start adding all these other things that are coming at you, and ways that people want to communicate and how they want to contact you, um, you can kind of go, whoa, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set some parameters. And I want to talk a little bit about, when we set those parameters, what that does good and what that does bad. But before I get into that, Carmen, thank you so much. Renee, appreciate the likes so much. Glad you guys are here. Um, and let's talk about that a little bit, Carter, and of course, then there's Lou. It just depends on what needs to be communicated, which I think is absolutely true, Lou. Perfect for that. Sometimes for phone calls, for things that are really quick, absolutely. You can do that. But there are other things. If you need to communicate an estimate, you need to have the details where you know somebody's going to sit with it and need to have that as backup and look at it, maybe share it with a spouse. Email is great for that. Is great for that. So I think that's a wonderful point there. So here's the next question. Should we expect consumers to communicate with us the way we want them to? So Carter, get into that a little bit about the when you set parameters of how people are going to communicate to you as opposed to setting an expectation to communicate like they want to communicate. What's the good and the bad about that?
Well, so in marketing, there's an adage that, I've heard it said several ways. The first way is never get in the way of a customer who wants to give you money. And the other way of saying it is um, create the shortest path between your bank account and your customer's wallet, right? So in marketing, we want to eliminate the roadblocks, the barriers to entry. There's a lot of phrases we use in the modern marketing world to describe the same problem, which is make it dead simple for your customer to communicate with you and make a decision about what needs to be done and to get the work done and then finally to pay you and complete the transaction. So that's always the goal in marketing. We don't want to, become so elaborate that we put extra steps and hoops and things that customers have to jump through in order to do what you need them to do in order to work with you. So in terms of limiting the places and platforms that you use to communicate with your customer, I understand that it's sometimes necessary. And like Terry said, you can only handle so many things in the office, right? I mean, first of all, there's just the attention deficit that is such a problem in the modern world. Every screen, every beep and alert and everything that's going on, different places to communicate with customers, it's very overwhelming. So one of the things that we need to think about is what can I really handle, right? Like in my business and the realities of the way that I have to do business, what can I really handle? How many people are in the office? Is there anyone in the office, or are you somebody who's running it from the truck? How many bells and whistles, how many alerts, how many screens, how many apps can you really manage effectively in order to communicate with your customers? You have to ask yourself that question. But the answer should always be the same: as many as I can, right? Like as many as I can truly, responsibly and effectively manage. That should be your answer. So as you grow your business, add the responsibility of checking a few new channels or something, so that um, that there's always somebody who's monitoring those things. But I will say that adapting to the way that customers want to communicate, uh, allowing for them to choose to communicate with you in the way that they want, doesn't have to be in today's day and age as difficult as it used to be. There are some great tools. We built one ourselves that really condenses all of those communication platforms into one view, where now you just have one screen, one app that you need to manage to communicate in all the different possible ways. I mean, that's the phone, that's online forums, that's email, that's Messenger, Facebook Messenger, as well as Google Business Profile Messenger, um, texting, right to somebody's phone, right from the screen of your computer or from your app, as well as the chat on your website. So, and other ones coming on, online all the time. So having one place to see all of the conversation, and that can be visual conversation. With a platform like this, you can send them a video, or you can send them a a Mr. T GIF, whatever you want to do, right? Like, I mean, a real platform for communicating whatever needs to be communicated the way that you want to communicate, the way that it's best to communicate it with the customer, and have it all live in one place. It's a great tool for that. So, think about the fact that that there are tools that can make it easier to provide the convenience to your customer to start the conversation and the journey of working with you wherever they may want to start it.
And I just want to add to that. We've switched over to this thing, I guess, probably 6 months ago. And one of the things that I really enjoy about it is the fact that no matter how somebody contacts me, I can actually see it. Now, I will tell you, because I'm out a lot, I still use the native apps. I still go into Messenger. I still go into some of the other places to do my communication outside of this tool, but it's for a different reason, because I'm not managing those relationships. The account owners do. Most of what I'm managing is sales. So the way I use it's a little bit different than what somebody that's in it every day would do it. But I'm telling you, I really like it because it picks up all the different ways, and then I get to choose how I want to respond, and that's my choice. And I really like that for me, because here's one of the things that we've had to ask. I've really had to ask myself. When I want to interact with a company, I will tell you, because I told you in the beginning, I'm a phone guy. If you don't have a phone number on your website, if you don't have a phone number somewhere where I can call you, the chances of me actually getting in touch with you is very, very slim. I'll just tell you, it's very slim. But there are people today, you cannot find a phone number anywhere to call them. I mean, you just can't. If you're a person that loves email, and there's not a way that you can email a person or a company, that may really frustrate you. I hate it because I'm not a really fast typist, and I'm not a fast, on my phone. I think that's why I like phones, because I can, have the conversation and make some notes afterwards, and I'm done. Um, but if you're not really fast at that and they force you into that, plus I'm a horrible speller, and there's a lot of things that I have around spelling. I work really, really hard when I create and write something that's written to make sure the grammar is right, the spelling is right. And I'm sure that comes from the fact that my mom was an English teacher. It's just, take the time, do it right, look at it, massage it, do the thing. And on chat and text, I feel very rushed a lot of times. And so that's a personal thing for me. But what I've had to realize is, yeah, that's personal for me, but everybody else has their own personal stuff too. So are we keeping people from contacting us and doing business with us because we're not allowing them to communicate in a way that's comfortable for them? That's really the question.
And I think that in today's day and age, there's still the acceptance of the fact that a modern company may not have a Facebook Messenger, account, or they're not monitoring their Facebook Messenger account for setting an appointment. And so if somebody really loves hanging out in Facebook all the time, and that's where they like to start their communications, and they find a company on Facebook that someone recommended, and they want to just start a chat with a company, they may realize, okay, that didn't work, or that won't, they're not responding, so I'm going to get their phone number and call them. And they may do that. But what transpires between somebody being in Facebook and then somebody finding the phone number and switching over and calling you is all the interruptions that can happen just in the normal daily life of any individual, ourselves included. And so, they get sidetracked and they think, well, I'm not in a place where I can make that phone call right now. I'll need to make that phone call later. And then they forget, or during that time, they find another company that looks even more promising, or whatever. They can't remember which company it was they were looking at. And so they end up going with someone else. So that's where the real opportunities are missed. And again, the shortest path between your bank account, your customer's wallet. So, by condensing that, by letting somebody just start the conversation right where they are already, and in a way that allows them to do it on their time, then that's where you just snag more opportunities. And they may convert over and give you a phone call if that's the only way that you allow for customers to communicate with you. But they may not too, and you may lose that opportunity.
And I think it's important, and Renee put this up here, that when somebody calls them, they're actually asking their preference for communication. You want to call, you want to text, you want to email, and that's great. What I'm finding, believe it or not, in this day and age, I've got quite a few chimney guys that the only way that I can get a hold of them is through Facebook Messenger. That's it. I can email them, I can call them, I can text them all day long. But Facebook Messenger is the way I get them, and so that's how I know I've got to do that. I've got to go over to Messenger, and I've got to get a hold of them. So while calling, texting, and email is great, there may be some other things that you're missing out on by not integrating some of these other things. The other interesting fact, we talked about the Google Business Profile last week. I think it was last week. These things are starting to roll together. Um, but I'll just tell you, there's a way on the Google Business Profile that during business hours you can set it for people to call you and message you straight from there as well. And so if people call, that's great, your number's there. But so many people now just want to message and find out different things. So that's another thing that people are missing out on. I read something just really interesting last week, that there are several businesses that are showing that anywhere from 30 to 55% of their business is coming from direct message on Google My Business, because they've opened that up. So, that's an option, especially if the phone calls are starting to die out, and things are starting to kind of kind of die down. Just know that that's an option out there to do it, to be able to monitor that. So yeah.
Yeah, Chuck brings up the point. It's called eliminating friction for success. Eliminating friction is
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great way to say that same thing.
Yeah, and by the way, Atomic Habit is a fantastic book. If y'all haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. Just really, really like it. So, really, when we're talking about this, we all, as business owners, we have to make choices, and we have to make the best choices for what we do, for not only for our business and our employees, but also our customers. So, we can choose to only let those who want to communicate with you communicate the way we want them to, and if that's a phone number, if that's text, whatever, you get to make that choice. We can choose, a couple of them, stick to that plan. We can choose them all and hire people to maintain communication. I know of a company, and I mean, he's got a bank of CSRs, and one of them does nothing but the Google My Business or Google Business Profile. I'm going to get that. Nothing but Facebook, another one, and he's got them divided out. And so they're monitoring each one of those channels, or a couple of together, but they have assignments that's all they do. So he's got a bank of people that do nothing but bring all those things in. He's also got Yelp turned on, and I can't remember, pretty much everything turned on. uh, but they also sell products, so that's another little bit of a difference for them. But that's something that you can choose to do. You can choose and invest the time, to see if there's anything out in the market that can help you manage those issues. And it's stuff that there are things out there to help you manage that and bring all that together in one place. And it's not going to break the bank. It's very, very much worth it. Or you can choose to not make a choice and just do whatever you're doing and going about your business. I mean, that's the great thing about owning a company. You get to choose whatever you want to do, however you want to handle it. But our job is to make sure that you're not missing marketing opportunities, because all of you spend money to get opportunities in. So if you're not taking advantage of those opportunities actually coming to you, then some of that money you're spending is now being wasted. And guys that know me know I don't like to waste money.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. So
Terry says, problem is that customers will send messages at all hours of the day and night expecting an immediate response. And as a one truck operation, we're not able to really do that, nor do we want to. And that's a fair point. Um, and we have that too, where we have customers that will contact us after hours. It is perfectly acceptable to not respond after normal business hours and to simply pick that up as the first thing you do in the morning. And the person who expects communication outside of business hours is usually not going to be a very good customer anyway. They're going to expect you to jump through hoops that are outside of normal business parameters anyway. So if they text you after hours, a lot of times I'll do this. I'll start a ticket with support for software or something and do it as a chat because I know it'll log it in their system. I don't expect an immediate response. I just do it when it's convenient for me. And then I know that when they start their business day and whatever time zone they're in, they'll respond to me then. So I do it for my sake so that I remember to get it done and just get it done when it's convenient with me. And I think what you'll find, Terry, is that with these communication methods, a lot of times it's convenient for the person to do it, but they don't really expect, like you might think they do, that you're going to just stop everything in the middle of dinner at 7:30 p.m. and respond to them. So it just allows for the incoming message, and they know that you'll get to that as soon as you start your business day, the next following business period. So that's what I have to say about that. Taylor, I know we've got a few minutes left, and I want to just address another type of communication that marketing can do that's not really about the one-to-one communication with a client, but like different kinds of content, right? I mean, a picture paints 1,000 words, and on your website, you may think that all you really need to do is just describe it in text, but maybe a picture does a better job of describing a problem, right? A diagram of a chimney. Even better yet, even video can describe something in a way that connects with people better than simply, text alone. So thinking about the problems that you're trying to solve for your customers and the way that you're trying to get into their head with the information that you need them to understand, you've got a pretty wide palette of information or of ways of presenting information on your website, and thinking that through and deciding, what are we trying to say here? And is it better to say it with text? Is it better to say it with text and a video, or text and photos, or diagrams? All of those things that can help to tell the story you're trying to communicate, and should be used wherever appropriate. It takes a little more effort, but you'll find that when you do it, your content is that much richer. Google will love you for it, and so will your customers.
Well, I think and to me, this comes down to choices as well. The honest truth is this: you have to have the text. I get a little. I push back quite a bit when people come to me and say, all I want you to do is put pictures on my website. People will figure it out. They'll know where to go, and they'll see other pictures and yada, yada, yada. Well, you have to remember, you always have there's two audiences. Two. One is search engines, and the other one is people. So if we're just wanting to attract people of a certain type, then using pictures for everything would be fantastic. It's a shortcut. It's great. We know what it is. People would go there and they would get it. There's a couple of problems. One is people are not all the same. Some people really love pictures, but they want to do a little bit more research. And so they need the text. They need the text to feel good about what they're looking at. They're researchers. So you got to make sure that you are not just going after one or two types of people, but you're going after a myriad of people, because it doesn't matter what kind of a person I am. If I've got to live in a house that's got a chimney, I need it serviced, so that's the deal. But because I'm the type of person I am, I'm going to look for the company that has the information I'm looking for. So we need to make sure and give them the information. I think one of the things we make the mistake is we think people are coming to our websites to see what we do. What they're really coming to the website for is to see what we do for you. What are you going to do for me? Are you going to solve my problem? Are you the company that understands me well enough to know that at the end of this, it's going to be a good experience? It's all about me, 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 me as the customer. So that's something you have to look at when you are crafting a website, whether it's pictures, whether it's text, whether it's whatever. And the whole Google was established on text, and so that's the backbone of their system is text based. And so when I get on with somebody and we look at their website and I go over and show them the code is what the bots go through. And the bots are the ones that are telling people where they go and what it is and understanding what all the content is. So using pictures is great for people, but the bots still don't know what the pictures are unless you tell them in the code. And I will tell you 90% of the time, people don't tell them in the code what the picture is. So, because I've looked at a lot of them and it's kind of crazy how much that is. So, that old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I would tell you a video is worth 1,000 pictures. And there's a misconception that online you have to have professional video, much like you would have to have it if it's on television. And I would tell you that's not true either. Your iPhones, the new Android phones, all of them do great video. There are apps out there. The iPhone, just Apple has built-in editors and stuff for iPhones that you can use and edit videos. Even if you have a series of still pictures, you can create videos out of those still pictures. There's a lot of things that you can do. You just have to create the source material. And it doesn't take really a long time either. I mean, those are some of the things that you have to understand that whatever people see on your website is what you're looking for on other people's websites. And video is not going anywhere. I mean, we just did this marketing panel with a couple of other marketers that are also awesome. I'm going to say also because I think we're awesome. So we all agreed on everything. We agreed on what Google was doing. We agreed on what Facebook was doing. We agreed. I mean, it was like across the board. We agreed on everything. And the reason that we agreed on them is because we're both in it all the time and we see it. And our main goal is to make sure that our customers win, because we understand that if our customers win, we're going to win as a company. So the hardest thing that we have as marketers is getting our customers to participate with us, to give us pictures and videos. That I will tell you right now, from day one, 12 years ago to today, that's still the hardest thing for us to do, is to get original photos and videos. And this is from an industry that takes, how many photos do you guys take on every job? I know some companies take 50 plus photos of every single job and I can't get one. It's nuts, but it's time consuming. And I understand that, going through them, what photo do I do? Where do I go here? All that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's communication. So the more you help your marketing company, or if you have your own website or whatever it is, the more original pictures and videos you can put on there to show people what's going on. I would even say if you can do video testimonials, awesome. Awesome. Video testimonials is another way to go. So these are all things that you can do and that you should do, whether you're doing it yourself, whether you've got, somebody in your neighborhood doing it, or your town doing it, or if you hired a marketing company like us doing it. Send them photos and videos. Great way to communicate.
Good advice.
Yeah.
So Renee, you were asking about how you can bring together texting as well as Google Messenger, Facebook Messenger, et cetera, all into one place. We do have a solution for that called Customer Engine. We haven't really advertised it. We're just slowly rolling that out with clients as we have conversations right now. But if that's something you're interested in, I can contact you after this and let you know a little bit more about what your options are there. But it's a great solution just to have one place to do that.
Yeah. So, oh, good. She's looking forward to hearing about that. That's awesome. So, guys, any other questions or anything about that? I know Lou's on here as well. That you've talked to him about that, and I'm going to follow up with him this next week. So that's awesome. If you guys are interested, just make sure you email either Carter or myself. Thanks, Chuck. I like this. I'm going to put this up. It's the Mac Daddy. If you know what that term is, you're as old as I am.
It's the bee's knees.
The bee's knees, baby. And we so appreciate you guys, but we're really trying to get the word out about this Spark Live podcast. We know that there are a lot of people talking about business and grow your business and what you do, over here and over there and banking and this. And we used to get a little bit into that, which is fine. But we made a decision this past year that we were going to stick to marketing. That's what we're best at. We're going to stick with it. So please get the word out to your friends and fellow sweeps in the industry. Would love to see more people on here so we can continue to educate people and kind of give them some great information. And I say that because I'm getting call after call after call from non-clients, some from clients that are getting suspended from the Google Business Profile. And I'll just tell you, it is happening everywhere. It's crazy. But a lot of people have no idea what to do about it. And so we're trying to help as many people as possible. And if they were to listen to us a few weeks ago, they would know what's going on and they would kind of know what they needed to do to at least start the process of attacking it. So just really want to get the word out. We appreciate you guys. As always, tell them that they can find us as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or their absolute favorite player. And next week's going to be, y'all need to bring your pencils and papers because we're going to do a little math. I warned you in advance. We're going to do maths, as my friend says, oh, we got to do maths. I don't want to do maths, but we're going to do some math. This is the one marketing stat that every business should know. If you don't know this one marketing statistic in your business, you can't make really good decisions around marketing. So we're going to go into this in detail and talk about it in a way that hopefully will really pull it out. I love Chuck. Can't wait. I love me some math. So we're going to talk about it in detail and really go into it and hopefully have everybody on here understand why this one thing is so important when it comes to marketing. So with that, guys, we're almost at 40 minutes. It's been fun. We appreciate all of you again and can't wait to see you next week. Y'all have a great one. Bye-bye.